It's been a really busy week. Hello and welcome to my channel. This week I'm going to be doing my weekly update for the last full week here of April, and I have been really putting the pedal to the metal trying to finish up all my prompts for readathon, and I'm not quite there yet. Still got a bit to go, but I did make a lot of progress with him this last week. So first off, I did have a couple of things that I ended up changing around because I picked too many long books. And I did read I finished two of my longest books, one of which I'm going to talk here, but it took more time than I would have liked, so I needed to shorten some things, so I changed up a prompt, and then I ended up doing The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and I have a lot of feelings about this one, so I will definitely be doing a review and talking about it. I did enjoy this as much as, it's one of those, it's a very bleak novel, but I liked it, but I also have a lot of thoughts on it that are somewhat mixed, and so I'll definitely be doing a kind of review / discussion on that, because it's heralded as this amazing book, and it's really good, but there's also some stuff. So we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so I did that one, which is, I have never read any Cormac McCarthy. That was my first. It's something I still meant to be reading, and that was for a prompt, something I don't physically own, and I was going to be doing a longer fantasy book. So I'm like, this is pretty short and something on my list, so we'll do that instead. And then my second longest book this month, Child of Flame, which is a chonker. I was doing this on audio, but it still took a pretty solid amount of time. With my reread here, Book 4 of Crown of Stars. Now this was, I always say it was my favorite, my first time through, and I still love this, but I feel like it says something that, I really enjoyed Book 3, which was my least favorite last time, and I knew it was happening here, and there were so many other little hints, so as I was going through, I still really enjoyed this, but I also just, kept, looking for more, because I kept finding all these little things, oh, I totally didn't realize this little bit of foreshadowing of this little thing here, and specifically some big things that are revealed in this book. There were so many hints early on also, which was really cool to see, so really enjoying my my read through here. Realizing too, because I have next month Gathering Storm, which is also pretty massive. I forgot how long the books 4 and 5 especially are of this series, but I'm still excited, having a great time. Next up then, I did The Heart of What Was Lost by Tad Williams. Now this is a prequel to Last King of Osten-Ard, and then kind of sort of a bridge book between Memory Star and Thorn and Last King of Osten-Ard. And I've been meaning to do this. I figured this was my good excuse to start that series, because it's also, pretty short, and I needed some shorter books. And this was okay. I just felt like this is it was a necessary story to tell. This is kind of tying up some loose ends from the first book, so it's a necessary story, and I think it accomplishes what it's trying to do, and it's telling a solid story, but it's also just it wasn't really a story that I cared about that much. We weren't really following the characters I wanted to hear and see from, so I was kind of mad on this. It was fine. It's probably not something I'll reread. I might with the rest of the series, but I think it does some important stuff. So I'm still really excited to read the actual Last King of Osten-Ard books. This, like I said, I think it's necessary. It's still something to read to fill in some blanks. And I imagine, based on where we're going to be starting in the Witchwood Crown, I imagine it's going to be very relevant. So probably still necessary, but it was meh. And then next up we had Cold West by Clayton Snyder. I did this, I swapped this out as well. I was originally going to do Of Honey and Wildfires, and I read a few pages that very, very quickly realized it's not for me. I definitely think there's a lot of people I actually immediately, I told my wife, I'm I think you'd like this, but we like really opposite kinds of books, and it just, the writing style, the way that it's being written, I just don't think that I'm the audience for it. So it was just one that I'm I'm not gonna read this. No, I'm gonna have a bad time with it, and go that route. So I'm just I'm gonna put it down because it was very quick. So instead, I did Cold West by Clayton Snyder. This is one I've had the ebook on, because I got a bunch of Clayton Snyder's books a while back and hadn't actually read any yet. So I tried this one, because this one is a Western, but it's also weird. Reading this, makes a lot of sense why Clayton Snyder and Michael R. Fleischer did some stuff together, because I can see that. This feels like some kind of like wild and crazy, twisted kind of stuff like that Fletcher would do. And so it did make sense kind of seeing that. It was a little bit jumbled at times, but I'll probably talk more about that one in a review as well and go through there. But I am interested to see more of what Clayton Snyder has to offer after reading this one. Then next up, we had The Bloodstones by Tori Tekken, which this was a review copy actually, but it was one that I had like commented like I was going to read even before I was sent to it, so I was already planning on getting this and going through. But I've been excited because I really wanted to, and this is Tori Tekken, and also Tori Talks here on YouTube. I wanted to read her book because she's awesome, and just her other one is just one of those, like, it's in a genre that's not really for me. And so I hadn't really tried it, and this is epic fantasy, is definitely more my speed, and I had a really good time with this. I will most certainly be talking about this in a full review, but it was a really, really quick-paced, character-focused story that also manages to do quite a lot of world building on the fly, and so a lot of great things here. I'm really interested to see where a lot of this is going to be going, and this is a book that it feels like it's setting up a lot while also not making it feel like a setup book, because everything that's happening is like really important and engaging. Some really great actions and a lot of good stuff there. So really excited to talk more about that as well, and I'll be excited for when the next book comes out there as well. Then we have what I am currently reading now, which includes The Master of White Storm by Janie Wirtz. This is my last book in Janie Wirtz's bibliography of her solo work. I'll still read the Empire Trilogy once I'm done here. But yeah, I was excited to get to this, and I have been all day today as I'm filming this a little bit later. I've been either reading or listening to this all day, triple formatting to try and get through because I need to, and I'm getting pretty close. I should finish this either tonight or maybe tomorrow at the latest, because I still got a bit. But this one is so also not what I was expecting, which I feel like with Janie Wirtz, all her work is unique and does some different stuff. This one actually gives me some more kind of like sword and sorcery vibes with the presentation. But then the character and the way that it's set up and when it starts, there's of course a lot more and depth coming on. So there's a lot going on here, and it's definitely been an interesting read. And it's just, yeah, this is very different from Sorcerer's Legacy. This is very different from Cycle of Fire, and this is very different from Wars of Light and Shadow. But yeah, it's still very distinctly Janie's style, and you can see all the kind of stuff here. But it's really just cool seeing all of the different kinds of stuff in her body of work. So been having a good time with it. And then we have The Moonsteel Crown by Stephen Dees. So I actually DNF'd this earlier in the month. I don't remember exactly when. And I was not planning on picking back up. I had switched this to, I think I was going to do the Hogfather, because this was for like an assassin/heist. Hogfather does fit the bill for that, I know. And I got like a third of the way through before I decided to DNF though. So since I'm so behind and scrambling, I'm like, I've already read a third of this book. It's going to be a lot quicker to just finish this instead of starting something new. So I've gotten another, nice chunk. So I'm actually almost exactly halfway through it now. So I've gotten another chunk in here, and so I'll be finishing it. This isn't bad. This is one I did a first chapter video of. And the first chapter really pulled me in. The tone, the style, the way, everything about it. The premise seemed really interesting. For some reason, this one just wasn't really landing that well for me. It feels like it should be up my alley, but we're dealing with like a group of like misfits who involve someone in a gang and just kind of trying to get by, and they're involved in this big heist, and it's a lot bigger than they realize. And then there's all these bits about magic and kind of the world building in there as well. And it's been interesting. Like I said, it's definitely not bad, but it's just also, for some reason, I don't know. It wasn't really holding my interest, but I'm going to be finishing it at this point. So, because I didn't determine early enough that I wasn't going to want to read it, and so, yeah, we'll see there. But, so after that and Master of White Storm, I then do only have 2 prompts left. And that would mean I got to finish both of these, and then in whatever time I have left, almost none. Before the end of the month, I'd have to finish 2 books. This is probably not going to happen. But the ones I had planned, originally I planned The Bone Shard Daughter was my random pick. I used a randomizer, and this is what it picked. This also I decided really wasn't for me. I'd previously done a first chapter, and I wasn't huge on it. And some people convinced me, but it's just, I was not feeling this one either. So I redid the randomizer, and instead I got Dragon Champion by E.E. Knight. And this is actually about the same length. And also the audio I found out is included on Audible Plus, so that works as well. So I'm going to try to get to this next. And then the Desert Prompt, which is supposed to be Dragon's Legacy. I was very excited to read this book. I still am very excited to read this book, actually. But originally, I was going to also be doing audio, and then that didn't end up working out. And so this is like a 500-page book, and there's no way I'd actually be able to finish this in time. So I might swap it out and try and do something shorter, and just see if I have time, depending. Or I might just not get to that prompt at all. We'll have to see, but I'll definitely be reading this soon. Maybe I'll try to get to it next month, because I am really excited to read this one. It's another one I did a first chapter on and really, really enjoyed. So that's kind of what I have going on. We'll see where I land. But by the time we hit next week, I'll know the readathon results, and we'll see if I made it or not, and then talk about anything else that I read as well. That's really it, though, for this one. So let me know what you read this week, or also if you are doing the Battle of the Bands readathon, how you've been doing. If you finished, if you're scrambling, or if you're not someone who's trying to read all the prompts and so are sitting pretty in that way as well. Definitely let me know. Love to hear from you in the comments. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizard in the Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.